Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. Today I want to talk to you about how speedrunners manage to fool the DS clock into doing exactly what we want. So first let me quickly explain what I'm talking about here. In certain DS speedrun categories, things like all trainers, things like 100%, things like catch-em-alls, it can be very useful to be able to sort of manipulate the DS clock. See, if you've ever played any of the Pokemon games from Generation 4 or 5, you may know that certain events get locked out after you change the clock. What I mean to say with that is, let's say you want to, for example, get a haircut to increase your happiness with a Pokemon if you're doing a catch-em-all. Or let's say you want to do the Yancy or Curtis trades in Black and White 2. Or you want to get to certain daily trainers in Diamond Pearl. You can actually do that, despite the DS normally locking you out of these sort of events. And that's what I want to do today. Now, there's a few main places where this applies. Things like the haircut, the Yancy and Curtis trades, daily trainers, another big one being the Safari Zone in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, where certain Pokemon will only unlock after you've done a certain amount of days. And in order to unlock some of them, you may need to play the game for months. In a speedrun, we don't have that kind of time. So we found ways to kind of fool the DS clock into thinking a day has passed without actually having to wait a day for it. This trick works in any of the DS Pokémon games. That is, Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Black, White, Black 2, and White 2. This trick does not work in any of the newer games, so on the 3DS this trick does not work. Anyway, with that said, let me get into how this actually works. For my example here, I'm going to use the haircut in Goldenrod City. The haircuts are a daily event that you can do in the underground in Goldenrod City, and they'll increase your happiness. And it's actually one of the easier ways to increase happiness if you don't have the money to, for example, buy vitamins, or if the Pokemon is too high level for it to be grinded properly. What you can do is you can talk to the trainer to the guy over here, and he'll groom the Pokemon, make them more friendly. And that's just how it works. Now, we do that, we select our Pokemon. Very straightforward. I imagine many of you have already done this at some point. Now, if I save the game and actually move it to the next day, what happens is we will not be able to get another one of these haircuts. Let me demonstrate that. So we're going to save the game here. I'm going to change the clock to the next day, and we'll confirm, yes, we can indeed not at this point get another haircut. Now, I'm using this as an example because it's just a very easy example to showcase, but the trick that I'm going to be showcasing here actually applies to every single time-locked event in the game. Certain events are not time-locked, and that is worth noting. The bug-catching contest, for example, in these games are not actually time-locked. The daily trainers in the restaurant, and I think it's the Valor Lakefront, or one of the lakefronts in Diamond and Pearl, those are time-locked. So that's an example where this wouldn't work. So now, if I talk to him again, he'll still say no, but that's also, okay, we changed day, that also means the other brother is supposed to be here, so let's see if he'll give us a haircut, right? So we go back in, and he says, I have a feeling it won't go well, let me close for the day. So this doesn't work. Right? We are not going to be able to get a haircut this way. Once again, I'm going to save the game, but let's say we do want to get another haircut. Let's say we have a level 50 Chansey and we need to evolve it into Blissey. I have a rare candy for it, but grinding out the happiness, not worth it. Grinding out the money, not worth it. Let's say we want to find another way. Here's what you do. You save the game and you restart the DS like you normally would, and you go into the time settings. Now, instead of changing the day, I'm actually going to leave the day for what it is, and we're going to go into the time. What we want to do is we want to change the time to 1 minute before midnight. We then restart the game and actually load in the save before midnight happens. And here's where something fun happens. The DS games, and this is true across all of them, they do check whether the clock has changed. You can't normally change to a different day and expect to still be able to do the daily things. But they don't actually check the time. So let's say I do this again. I go in. Now, he says, okay, he's still going to close. What if we go out and we wait for the time to roll over? So this is just going to take a few seconds. We have the Pokegear here, so we can check. It's 23:59. Now, an interesting little thing that I've noticed with events like this is sometimes it actually matters whether it's exactly midnight or whether it's 1 minute past midnight. Some events, they don't quite happen in the same way, but the idea is we try to set it up in such a way that the time will roll over after we've loaded in the game. So it's currently saying Saturday. Let's go see what happens here. So I'm going to go downstairs once again. We see the other brother, and he allows us to get the haircut again. At this point, the game thinks a full day has passed, but it hasn't. This trick applies to so many time-based events in the game. If you, at any point in a game, need to get daily trainers again, if you want to increase your happiness very quickly, or probably more importantly, let's say you want to do the Safari Zone in this game. Now, the first two actions in the Safari Zone are actually locked by an amount of playtime, so I can't actually showcase this. But the idea is, after that, in order to unlock certain areas in the Safari Zone, days need to pass. This is a trick that is actually really important for the co-op catch-em-all for Gen 4. A little while ago, somebody came to me telling me, that might be a cool category to try out where you do this solo and you have to get everything through the Safari Zone because you need to wait up to, and this is not a joke, you get quadruple block value at 130 days. That is over 4 months. Speedrunners do not have this kind of time. And even to get all of the blocks as double block values still takes 40 days, so it's not worth waiting for. What we can do is we can use this trick where we set the time to 1 minute before midnight and let it roll over while we're in the game to do all of those 140 days in a couple of hours. Now, obviously, we want to reduce this as much as possible, and then in the speed run that we do for the co-op run of this co-op catch-em-all of this game, I think we only need to do about 30 days, so it takes like about 45 minutes to an hour to do. That's still long, but I'd much rather take 45 minutes to an hour over upwards of a month. Tricks like this is one way that speedrunners can actually just fool the DS clock into doing exactly what we want. And this works for so many things. Want to retry the lottery on a day, see if you want a Master Ball? Well, you can do that. You can do this as many times as you want with about 2 minutes in between, and it works. It's not the fastest method, and it's definitely only worth it for very specific little things. But it is still a very worthwhile little trick to note. An added beauty is that for almost all of the time events, after you've changed the day, you can just change the time to what it needs to be. In Diamond and Pearl, for example, there is a set of daily trainers, but only there's 9 sets of trainers, 9 double battles, and only 5 will show up. For all trainers, we need to do all 9 of them. So what we do is we change the clock in the same way that I just did. We let it roll over while we're in the game, and then the restaurant where the trainers are at doesn't actually open until 9 a.m. So what I do then is we just save the game again, set the clock to 9, and I can enter and I can fight all the trainers, no problem. This little trick, it's super easy, it's super dumb that this works, but it is incredibly useful for some of the most obscure categories in Pokemon speedrunning. So yeah. Hope you guys all found that interesting. It's a little bit of a different little trick that I just wanted to showcase because a lot of people that are attempting to pick up certain category extensions don't actually know about this trick, and they don't actually know that you can manipulate the clock in such a way to make a lot of events happen much, much sooner than they're supposed to. So yeah, hopefully this trick has been useful to some of you. If it has, be sure to leave a thumbs up. And yeah, we'll have another, you know, if you also, I should probably ask this as well. If you like these sort of little tutorials, just of small little tricks that we do in speedrunning, you know, do let me know in the comments. I might try to get around to showcasing another trick or two at some point. Yeah, that's it for me. I hope you guys liked that. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe. You guys know how all this works. I really shouldn't be explaining this at this point. And I hope to see you guys next time for another video. Next week, I will have another Pokepark run, because next week we will be doing the Gen 1% of Pokepark 1. That is, you'll see what it is. I'll explain it when that video comes out. But that should be a lot of fun. Until then, stay tuned and hope to see you guys around.